Hello there, friends. It's Miss Holmes here again, coming to you from my happy place, my beautiful kindergarten classroom, room C2, right here at Jack London Elementary School, also known as home of the cutest little class in town. And before I record another awesome Halloween treat for you today, I just want to remind you, friends, that I still need your help and support. I need you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you could go ahead and just push that subscribe button right now, it's completely free. And by doing that, you will help support me so I can keep recording all these amazing stories and share them with lovers of literature everywhere, from bigs to littles alike. So thank you for your support, friends. This is a real treat today. This is a special book that was actually recommended from our Jack London Elementary librarian, Miss Katie. And she loaned me this book. I was asking her about some good Halloween books, and she said, "Oh, I have one for you." This is titled Bone Soup, and it's written by Cambria Evans. And I'm excited to read it because I've never read it before, and I'm always looking for great new book recommendations. So thank you, Miss Katie, for recommending this book for us today for Storytime with Miss Holmes. And before we record any new book, we always look and say, is there a sneak peek on the back from the author? And there is. It says, known across the land for his infamous appetite, Finnegan is never seen without his eating stool, his eating spoon, and his gigantic eating mouth. When Finnegan finds himself in a new town on Halloween, he hopes to join a great feast with the creatures who live there. But not a body or soul will share any of their food with the ever-famished Finnegan. So what's a hungry skeleton to do? Armed only with his wits and a special ingredient, will Finnegan be able to stir up a cauldron's worth of Halloween magic? We're going to have to read this together to find out, my friends. Oh, I love this comment. Kids will eat up bone soup. I think we will. Let's read it together. Bone Soup by Cambria Evans, and read for Miss Katie, our librarian. Thank you for this book recommendation, Miss Katie. Being nothing more than skin and bone, Finnegan had to live by his wits. Oh, there he is. He had no family or house to haunt, but he was known across the land for having a ravenous appetite. Everyone knew that wherever Finnegan went, he always brought his eating stool, you see that right there, his eating spoon, right there, and his gigantic eating mouth. Well, I like the labels the author has written on the picture here to show you each item. On Halloween, Finnegan's travels took him through a barren land. What a lovely place, he thought. I'm sure I can find a Halloween feast here. But as Finnegan grew closer to town, a witch passed by. Yes, we see her overhead. Happy Halloween night, he said. Do you know where the feast is? The witch took one look at Finnegan and quickly flew away. Well, that wasn't very nice. Back in town, the witch told the beast told the zombies told the mummy, and before you knew it, the entire town was talking about the impending arrival of Finnegan, the eater. Look, the witch even put up posters, warning, beware. She shows the eating stool, the eating spoon, and the eating mouth, the eater. Oh, no. And she's telling everyone about it. Uh-oh. Here comes Finnegan, the witch warns. We don't need a big mouth like that, says this monster. We have barely enough for ourselves, says another. I've heard he's worse than a plague of locusts, says the mummy. Who's Finnegan? Asked this guy. In a panic, the witch booby-trapped her jars of eyeballs. The beast locked his bat wings in the cupboard. The zombies put their frog legs in the cellar. And the mummy and the other town's creatures hid all they had to eat. Uh-oh. When poor, ever-hungry Finnegan came to town, he was surprised that it looked empty, but even more surprised that there was no feast. Oh, instead of welcome, they cross out welcome. Well, so Finnegan knocked on the witch's door first. "Could you spare a bit of food?" he called out. "I have nothing for you," the witch shrieked. Next, Finnegan tried the beast's store. "Could you spare some wormy cheese and bread for a simple traveler?" he asked. "A simple traveler," the beast said. "I know who you are. I have just enough for myself and none to spare. Be gone." At the third door, Finnegan had barely opened his mouth when the zombies all yelled, "Go away! We have no food for you!" At the mummy's door, the answer was the same. No one's willing to share with Finnegan. And so he went through the whole town, knocking on doors and windows, but not a body or a soul had any food for Finnegan. "Hello? Could you spare anyone home?" Poor Finnegan. Undaunted, Finnegan collected wood from the forest and built a fire in the middle of the town square. He then filled the town's largest cauldron with water and set it to boil. After waiting a long time, Finnegan ceremoniously opened his cloak. He took out a magnificent piece of bone, so old that the edges were dry and splintered, and with a toothy grin, he dropped it right into the cauldron. See that? Finnegan stirred the mixture, singing, "Bone soup is what I make. A magic bone is all it takes. Boil it long and add some spice. Bone soup tastes so very nice." Always making his own feast. Bone soup. One by one, the town creatures opened their doors and walked toward Finnegan and his fire. And the monster asked, "What are you boiling?" And the witch says, "What are you singing about?" What's a dry old bone?" This creature is asking. And the mummy says, "You can't make soup out of that. Any ghoul knows as well." Finnegan smiled. "Well, I must not be a ghoul, for I am making such a soup." The little werewolf crouched at Finnegan's side. "I've never heard of bone soup before, but I think I'll like it. In some places I have traveled, the bone soup is considered a delicacy," Finnegan explained. "Besides, this is no ordinary bone. It is magic." He tasted the broth again and sighed. "If only there were some stewed eyeballs. With eyeballs, the soup would be very tasty." So the little werewolf tugged at Finnegan's cloak. "The witch has a jar of those. I know she does." All the villagers stared at the witch, and her face turned an even brighter shade of green. Yes, I do," she stammered, "but they're imported." The villagers stared at the witch until she finally fetched some from her stash. The eyeballs were a fabulous addition to the soup, but soon Finnegan looked wistful. "If only we had some bat wings. Can you just imagine what flavor they would add?" The little werewolf tugged at Finnegan again. "The beast has cupboards full of those. I saw them myself." Embarrassed, the beast fetched an entire box of bat wings. The wings were added, and just as Finnegan had said, their flavor was wonderful. Finnegan continued to stir the soup, but he looked longingly into the cauldron. "Now, if only we had frog legs, this soup would be fit for a king." The little werewolf tugged once more on Finnegan's cloak. "The zombies have a cellar filled with those. Just ask them." Before Finnegan could ask, the zombie children had fetched all the frog legs they could carry, and they brought them up for the stone soup. The legs were stirred into the broth, and soon the cauldron was also bubbling with spider eggs and dried mouse droppings, toenail clippings, and dandelions. And with a final dusting of slime and sludge, the soup was declared ready. Of course, the soup is wonderful alone, said Finnegan, but it takes only wormy cheese, bread, and company to make it a true Halloween feast. Go, bring your cheese, bread, and bowls so we can share this bone soup together. And the witch says, what a fabulous soup. The monster says, such good flavor. Truly fit for a king, say the zombies. And the mummy adds, to think it was all made from a magic bone. Wow. Oh, and there's Finnegan with his spoon, about to eat a delicious eyeball. And so it was that Finnegan got his Halloween feast. After all. And he was kind enough to share it with everyone else who at first wasn't kind enough to share with him. Maybe they just needed to see, right? See Finnegan sharing, and then they realized it was the right thing to do. And they created a delicious stone soup together. With a final wave to the werewolf, Finnegan quickly left with his eating stool, his eating spoon, and his gigantic smiling mouth. Oh, and his magic bone. Adorable. I loved it. Sharing is caring, they say. Thanks for reading that with me, friends, and thank you, Miss Katie, for sharing this book recommendation with us today. It was lots of fun. Stay tuned. I have more October stories coming up for you on Storytime with Miss Holmes.